Good evening, loves. How are you? It's Shanda, and welcome to Shanda Says. It is Wednesday evening. You know, we talk about on Wednesdays sex and relationships, and there is nothing I love to do more than ask you guys a question. You know, I love that. So, tonight's question is, what turns you on? Now, you may think that's a very easy question to answer, and maybe for some of us it is, but for many of us, that's a very hard question to answer. This particular topic came to me. I had a very, very close friend, and this was years ago actually. I had this conversation, and me and her were talking again. You know, when you get with your girls, you're talking about sex oftentimes, and we were talking. And I brought up something, probably something freaky, knowing me. But I said, well, how do you feel about this? And she was like, oh, I can't ask my husband to do that. And I was like, why can't you ask him to do that? She said, because if I ask for that, he'll think that I'm cheating. And I remember feeling really weird about that because you would assume I'll take my marriage. If I want anything in my bedroom, I ask for it. And 10 times out of 10, I get it. You know, I'm not afraid to ask for what I want, and I'm not afraid to, let's just say I have no shame in what I ask for. And that's what dawned on me. I think many of us love certain things, but are very afraid or maybe ashamed to ask for what we want in bed with our partners. Now, if you're single, you know, it's kind of like if you're seeing someone here or there and you're not really serious about someone, sometimes it can be easier to ask for what you want because there's no emotional attachment. And the part of being judged is kind of taken away because you're just not involved that much that you care enough. But when you're in love with somebody and you're in a real relationship or marriage with someone and you want something sexually and you're not getting it out of shame or fear of rejection, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with that? You know, again, I'm a woman that's very, very comfortable in her skin. I've shared this with you guys on many occasions. I'm not afraid to discuss sex. I'm not afraid to, especially in my marriage, very early on. See, I believe in how you start a relationship. It sets the tone from the very beginning. And with my relationship with my husband, I was very forward when it came to our sex life because I wanted him to know what I like, what I don't like, and it was very important to me what he likes. Yeah, I'm one of those women that I'm very in tune to what um, my man likes. So Scoop is very spoiled, and I'll go on record. Everything that I've done in the beginning, I still do. Okay, let your minds travel with that. So, you know, I'm a very sexual woman, and I love intimacy and I love trying new things. Now, what I won't do is invite someone else into my bedroom. That is my choice, that is my husband's choice. But there are couples who love that and who want that. So, how do you get to a place of asking your partner or telling them things you wish for? Here's my thing, certain things may need to be kept as a fantasy because when you're in a relationship, it may be hard to ask that from someone who is in love with you. Let's say menage a trois. Let's say as a woman, I'm not even going to say men. Let's say as a woman, you've always wanted to be with another woman, or you've wanted to be with two men. Like this has just been a fantasy of yours for a long time. But how do you tell your man or your husband you want to bring another man into the room? That's not going to happen 9 times out of 10. He may agree to the woman, but I doubt he's going to agree to another man coming into your bedroom because men are very territorial and so are, so are us women. You know, I know me. I can't have another woman in my bedroom. I can't, because even if I said, Shonda, let's just be wild, let's just try it. If my husband is liking it too much, I'm going to be ready to scratch and cut people. And that's going to take the fun out of it, right? Yeah. But how do you get to a place? You have to be comfortable and you have to be confident. And a lot of times, many of us are not comfortable and confident with our sexuality. And that comes with maturity and experience. If you're a young person watching this, I want you to be 18 and over. But it takes a lot of confidence to say to a man, no, 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 no. I want you to do this. But I'm going to share this little tidbit with you. And if you're a guy watching this, I want you to write in and let me know if I'm right. 9 times out of 10, if your man is doing something or you want something and you ask him and you ask it actually during the act, many times they're like, really, you want that? Hell yeah, I'll give you that. Again, but if you marry a guy that has all these hang-ups or a woman that has all these hang-ups, you have to know that prior to you getting married or prior to a commitment, that there were issues there. So what I want to say to you is you can't ignore sexual issues in your relationship because it will come back and haunt you. You may think that, oh, everything else is in place. This is not as important because it's just sex, but it is very important when it comes to your sex life. That you have that connection, that you have that space of being able to trust each other to say what you want without being ashamed of it. Now, let's just say I share a little something that I like, that I do. Do you want to hear it? Oh, I don't know if my husband will get mad at me if I share this. Let me see. Do I want to share this particular thing? Well, I like to role play. Let's put it like that. And yeah, I just had a memory of last Saturday. But anyway, we'll talk. My question for you tonight is, what turns you on? And is your partner in tune to what turns you on? And if not, why? If not, why? And how great is your sex life? It's a couple of questions. But again, I'm back here Friday discussing fashion and beauty and hair, all those great female things. I love you. Email me, ShandaSays1@gmail.com. Follow me on Twitter @ShandaSays. And you can order the Gemini collection from Shanda at Curvista.com. I love you, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.